Hey everyone, it's Katie. I wanted to make a video today just to share a bit about life before and after the Sinclair Method, talking about a few different scenarios and experiences, just because I've been reflecting on how much my experience in life has changed for the better since discovering this method. So wanted to speak a little bit to that. First, I wanted to talk about parties. So when I go to parties before the Sinclair Method, my alcohol addiction was in full force, and my number one priority and thought at parties was just to drink and get drunk. And I had what I think of now as just like a social anxiety that was induced by alcohol. So I would go out to these parties and immediately I would just like want to get drunk in order to feel comfortable. And now at parties, sometimes I drink, sometimes I don't, and I am finding so much joy in really just connecting with people around me and connecting with the scenario and really being present and engaged in the experience. Before, as I said, I would just be focusing on drinking, the next drink, that was like my whole focus. I wasn't really connecting with people, and that was just secondary or felt kind of superficial in a way. And now I feel like I'm really engaging and connecting with people when I'm going to social events and parties. So it's really just a rich experience. Next, I want to speak to my evenings at home. So before the Sinclair Method, was drinking pretty much every single night after work. And I would, get buzzed, sometimes get really drunk, and my evenings at home, like, it's kind of a blur what they were. And it basically revolved around alcohol and hanging out and not really doing much else. Now my evenings are spent the majority of the time totally sober, and I'm enjoying time with my husband, enjoying time reading books, taking up hobbies that I love, spending time with friends, and it just feels so much more like a balanced way to live. Like after work, I'm able to have all this free time to just really enjoy life. There comes mornings as well. So when I was drinking heavily, most mornings were spent in a fog or hungover. I had really bad anxiety that alcohol would induce and bring on. So I'd wake up with just horrible anxiety some mornings, not really understanding why. And now my mornings are refreshing, and I feel rested, and I feel ready to take on the day, and just feel healthy and feel really good. And that's just an amazing way to start the day. I start off feeling clear and empowered and just ready to take on the day. Next, I want to talk about social situations that I'd be in that didn't involve alcohol. So before the Sinclair Method, if I was at an event where there was no alcohol or hanging out with people and there wasn't, often I would be like in the back of my mind just like, I'm gonna have a drink after this, like, okay, when's this gonna be over so I can have a drink? And often I would just feel irritated, like I didn't really want to be around situations that didn't include alcohol. And now that is like my ideal situation. I love, as I said, just like having the opportunity to really connect with the situation or experience I'm in and the people I'm with. It's so rich and fulfilling in ways that it never was before when alcohol was in the front seat and really controlling everything. On my days off before the Sinclair Method, so those were my times to just really escape, and I would often drink pretty heavily on my days off. Start drinking during the day and just get buzzed and even drunk throughout the day, and that's how most of my weekends were spent. I was usually hungover one weekend day where the day was pretty much shot because I was hungover, or I just was too sick to do anything. And now my days off and my weekends are so fun and full, and I get to make these videos for you guys, and I'm out exploring the beautiful area that I live, or reading, or yoga, or I love to sew and make clothes and just doing different hobbies. So it's like I can't wait to just like have this time to do whatever I want. It's so precious, and I couldn't imagine just wasting it now by drinking and experiencing hangovers. So it's really fun to have this extra sense of freedom and extra time. I want to talk about my body. So there's been some major changes in my body since starting the Sinclair Method. Before it, when I was drinking a lot, my face was super puffy, and I've had several people comment, like, over the course of the 8 months I've been making these videos, they say that my complexion and my face looks better. And I was actually looking at a video that I made before the Sinclair Method, just a personal video, and my cheeks were so chubby. They looked like they had like walnuts in them. I couldn't believe it. So I've definitely noticed a difference in my face and my complexion, and I've lost some weight. I was always just carrying like this extra puffiness in my body, like retaining water weight, and that's gone now. And so I feel like I'm really at my ideal weight and feel really good in my body. Alcohol was definitely keeping on an extra at least 5 to 8 pounds that I was just carrying around. So that's been wonderful. The cravings for alcohol. So that's been one of the most significant and life-changing experiences from the Sinclair Method. So prior to the Sinclair Method, my cravings for alcohol were off the charts. Like, any day that I wasn't drinking, it was because I was like white knuckling it and like, okay, you know, I've drank 7 days in a row, I really shouldn't drink today. So the cravings were just constant. And even when I'd be at work, I'd be like counting the hours till 5 o'clock, and I'd be looking forward to, okay, I'm gonna be home and I'm gonna have a drink and it's gonna be fine. And that occupied so much of my mind space, my thoughts, my energy. It was just like focused on these cravings. And now I have like 0 cravings. And so with that, there's all this extra mind energy and emotional energy and creative energy that's freed up. And I have, you know, these beautiful epiphanies that come to me, or I just have time and space to think about other things or be really present with what I'm doing. I have this newfound clarity and mental energy to just focus on what I'm doing, since my mind isn't off in craving alcohol land. I'm just really noticing that I'm really engaged in what I'm doing. And I notice I appreciate little things before that I didn't appreciate when alcohol was always on my mind. Like the smell of flowers, the beauty of a view, you know, the really engaging with someone and learning about them more and really enjoying connecting with them. So having these cravings gone, it just has opened up my mind in ways that I couldn't have even imagined. So that's a huge gift. Next, I want to speak to the experience of getting drunk or getting intoxicated. So I've had a number of people ask me, you know, can you still get drunk on the Sinclair Method? And yes, you can. So prior to the Sinclair Method, we all know what the experience was like, or we can assume. So I would just get drunk, belligerent drunk, blackout. That would happen regularly. And oftentimes, you know, I loved the first couple drinks and it'd be so fun, and then I would take it too far and I would get so drunk, and then the next day I would have this guilt around, oh my gosh, why did I do that? And now what happens is I take the medication, and at least an hour before I drink, and I can still get a buzz. Sometimes I will have 2 drinks. I rarely have more than 2 or 3. And I do get a little bit of a buzz, but I never, since being on the Sinclair Method, I've never drank to full-on intoxication. And that's just because my desire to drink stops after about 2 drinks. I just get this signal that goes off and I literally don't want any more. It's like someone giving you something like food or drink that you really don't like. It's easy to say no to it. And that's how it is with alcohol. It's just like, boop, okay, don't want any more. So drinking to intoxication has been pretty much impossible for me since I've started this. Yes, I've gotten buzzed. Yes, it's fun. But the difference is I don't have this like the first drink when you get this rush, like, oh yeah, I want more, I'm gonna go on a bender kind of thing. It's not that rush anymore, but it is a buzz that comes, and it's fun, and I'm still hanging out with friends and being silly and getting a little buzz, but I'm never intoxicated, never blacking out. It's more just a fun buzz. And truthfully, I'm kind of forgetting what it's like to be drunk. Like, I can't really remember that feeling, and I really don't want to, because I was the longer I was drinking, the more I was finding myself in these really kind of sketchy situations, or just really sabotaging myself through alcohol consumption. Next, I'd like to speak to the experience of moderating drinking before the Sinclair Method and after the Sinclair Method. So before trying it, you know, for years, I knew I had an alcohol problem, and I would really try to restrain myself and moderate my drinking as much as possible. So often I would just try to have at the most 2 drinks, because beyond 2 drinks, I would always get myself in trouble. But when I was able to moderate before the Sinclair Method, it was hard. I would have my second drink and be really sad that I couldn't have more. I would kind of get grumpy because I would want another drink, and I'd be like white knuckling it, restraining myself. I'd just be like thinking like, oh my gosh, I want a drink. And I remember like observing people who would have one glass of wine or one or two drinks and they'd stop and be fine. And I'd be like, how do you do that? Because whenever I would do that, I would be just like obsessing on it, like, and everything inside me would have to restrain me from having more to drink. Now, it's absolutely effortless and it happens naturally. And, you know, this must be what it feels like for normal people to be able to consume alcohol and just be done when you're done. So now I have this really clear signal where, you know, I'll have one drink, maybe I'll have two, and then I'm just absolutely done. And as I said, it's like someone trying to give you something that you don't even like. It's just really easy to let it go, and I turn over to water, and I'm in a happy mood. I'm totally fine. I'm not feeling annoyed because I want more alcohol. It's just absolutely effortless to stop drinking after the first couple of drinks. So that's been incredible. And the last thing I want to speak to is just my connection with my husband. So when I was drinking really heavily, he knew I drank, and he knew I drank, you know, kind of a lot, but he didn't understand to the full extent that I was drinking because I hid it a lot from him. I'd often, you know, we'd be out in a social situation and I would go off and sneak drinks so I could get more drunk. And so he would only see me drink one or two drinks, but behind the scenes I was sneaking drinks and getting drunk, and I'd wind up really drunk. And he's like, how did that happen? You know, you only had a couple of drinks. So I was in major denial and I was hiding it from him, even though we spend so much time together. I was really good at just hiding it from him. But that really put a wedge between us in a way, and that like we weren't really deeply connecting in the way that we could. So, you know, I was kind of always in my head, like sneaking alcohol, wanting to drink more. And my husband is someone who has no problem with alcohol. He's someone who can have one glass of wine and over the course of several hours and not want any more. And so being with him was a real reflection for me too about my problem with drinking, just because I would watch him consume his alcohol in like a normal way, and I was like over there sneaking more. So now that I've been on the Sinclair Method, we just connect so much more, and I don't have this whole story and thing going on in my head where I'm wanting to sneak more or have more, or, you know, I'm drinking twice, 3 times as fast as he is. It's just like, it's an organic experience. We drink about the same now, and we're just more genuinely connected. So it's really enriched my experience with him as well. So that's about it. Just wanted to kind of speak to these different experiences now that it's been 8 months that I've been on the Sinclair Method, and all the improvements I've noticed through these different experiences and engagements in life. So all for now. Feel free to reach out. You can email me or comment below. I love connecting with people. I'm so happy to see that this method is starting to spread more. That's why I make these videos. I'm so passionate about it because it's so much just transformed my life that I want to get the message out. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments or feedback or anything like that. All for now. Talk to you soon. Bye.